Well, happy weekend from Delmarva, Shorebilly Farmer. It looks like it's going to be a beautiful weekend, and the ground has finally dried up enough for us to do some real farm work now and get some tillage done. So we're going to be out using this. Yeah, I can't wait. It's going to be a lot of fun. I've already played around with it a little bit, just testing things out, making sure it's adjusted, yada yada. But we're going to go ahead and start this tractor up, let it warm up. I've got to clean some windows because I let this sit outside the last couple nights because it hasn't rained. And birds don't value their lives because they decide to keep torpedoing my windows, especially the bird that loves to sit up there and do that. I can't ride with that. It'll drive me nuts. So let's start this thing up, get it warm. We've been disking for a little while, so now's a good time to jump out, check on everything. So where this is a new to us piece of equipment, I mean, I do this with everything anyway, but after we run over a few acres, I like to get off and just make sure that we don't see any bolts backing out, nothing coming loose, nothing way out of adjustment, no bearings going out in the baskets. We did that with our rolling harrow. Everything looks okay. Wait a minute. Nope, that's good. It's better to catch problems now before they become big problems and tear up a lot. Because if one of these bearings were to go out and waller out the hole, it could come out of the pillar block, which is what holds the bearing in, and then this basket could swing out and bend that up down there. And it's just better to catch problems before they become big problems. But everything looks good. I gotta tell you, so far, now this is our first time really running this land all over any ground in the right conditions. It's finally dry enough for us to really utilize it other than just playing around by the house there. But so far I like it. It definitely pulls hard, very hard. We had the answer for that tractor right there. That's coming in a video very soon. And the only thing is, if you have a really thick mat of like chick pick or grass, anything that just kind of sprawls, you really have to go fast in order to throw the dirt far enough. In order for this to work, it needs to be pulled fast. It's not a traditional disc. Yes, it has concavity to the blades, but they're very shallow, meaning that they're not like a traditional disc blade where it's really concave like this and running an angle. These are really shallow. They have some concavity to them, but they're almost flat. As you can see here, it dishes in a little bit, and that's what I mean by concavity, is how much it dishes out. These blades are really shallow, so excuse me, allergies. You need to go really fast to get the dirt to throw. Otherwise what happens is it just kind of rolls the dirt over, and then the back gang just kind of rolls the dirt back. So you got to pull it fast enough to fracture or shatter the soil. And when you have a thick root mat from like chick pick or heavy grass, you've got to pull it even faster, and that takes even more horsepower. And again, that alludes back to what we're going to do with this to give ourselves a little more horsepower. But overall, I'm liking it. It's definitely heavy built. I like the fact that, now I went with a 26 footer. My neighbors have 23 footers, and I didn't really go with this because I wanted 26 foot. I went with it because I found a heck of a deal on this one. Let me turn this other camera off here. I swear, I don't know how our ancestors got along with dealing with all these cameras and everything. I imagine it was hard to strap this thing to a mule. I wasn't necessarily looking for a 26 footer. I found one at a heck of a deal that was in excellent shape, and that's why we bought it. However, I will say there is a benefit to this 26 footer. The 26 footers and above have 2 lift cylinders for the wings. So, when the wing folds up, those 2 cylinders bring it up. I like that. It takes a lot of pressure off of the single cylinder. Plus, when you get in some really uneven ground, it helps keep the wings down better, I would think. But she's definitely heavy. I think I could have been a fighter pilot. We got quite a bit of stuff going on here at the moment. Running the tractor, running a drone. There's our drone there. How did the old timers ever do it? not sure if the drone footage picked up on how wet it is up here on the side of this hill. And this is something we seem to fight every spring in this farm. There's nothing you can do about it. You just got to wait for it to dry out. What essentially happens is, you know, hydraulic pressure is the most powerful force in the world. And all the water that's coming down off the top of the hill, you know, water wants to run down or horizontal. And the easiest path it could take, and I assume it's probably because there's a clay layer deep down, is it goes down off the top of the hill and it tries to come out the side of the hill. And you can see the mud right over here. We have heard at some point there used to be a spring there. I don't know if that's true or not. I might talk to the landowners at some point and ask them if they know if that's true, but I can tell you that it is usually wet there even in a drought. So I would not be shocked if that was true. But you can see it was pretty mucky, sloppy. So far, I'm very, very happy with the job these things are doing. Some tweaks on my end, I think, that we could do to do better, but it does seem to be working as far as trying to level up some of these fields. I just wish they were a touch more aggressive. Bury a little bit. You see there's quite a bit of grass left laying on top. I wish they were a little bit more aggressive, but then these aren't designed to be regular discs. These were designed to be what they call a vertical tillage tool. Now, vertical tillage has really taken off here in the last, I'd say, 2 decades. And what that means is the dirt does not move horizontally. So like a plow or the old discs that threw a lot of dirt horizontally, or like a field cultivator like we used to have or still do, you know, it would mix the soil. Vertical tillage is the idea of running vertically in the soil profile and actually shattering the soil, but it does not disturb the soil horizontally. It doesn't mix it. And there's pros and cons to both. I've read the science on both. Honestly, I think it comes down to what's best for your area and your soil type. Chisel plowing is technically vertical tillage if you have straight shanks on. But where we run the curved shanks that actually leave humps and everything, that is no longer vertical tillage, and then you're just doing tillage. But these discs are touted to be a vertical tillage tool. To me personally, I think it's marketing. I don't think these are vertical tillage. I think these are more along the lines of what you would call a high-speed disc. You can cover a lot of acres pretty quick. It does move some soil horizontally. It might have that impact of fracturing the soil vertically, but it's once you start moving soil horizontally, you're not doing vertical tillage. I know that these discs do a nice job of leveling a field. They leave a nice seed bed. And really what we wanted it for especially was for incorporating corn stalks in the fall, because our old discs leave the field extremely rough, and they just didn't do a good job, not for what we wanted it to do. So that's why we got this. We don't follow a vertical tillage program. You know, we like to turn our soil. We think it's beneficial. So right now we are going about 7 mile an hour, 7.2. It just kind of depends how fast or how comfortable I feel like running. The next pass will pull it a lot faster. I have pulled these up to 9 miles an hour with this tractor. Again, once we did our special little something to it. It's just too rough out here to go any faster. And it doesn't help equipment either. You beat and bang, and it's just recipe for broke welds, which I don't think you're gonna break any welds on that anchor behind us. You know, it's just hard on your equipment, hard on the front differentials, hard on me, because, you know, us YouTube farmers, man, we want to be pampered. I mean, how else you do auto steer? Okay, we're gonna try something stupid, and this is just for you, YouTube. This field over here is a little too wet, and I hate going through wet areas, especially when you're pulling something like this, because this can be a heck of an anchor. The tractor won't be stuck. I can pull the pin and the tractor will ride right out. What happens is the main lift wheels in the center back here, so those and then those over here, they actually dig down and they quit turning. And basically they're now just plowing all that mud, and this tractor has to pull that plus try to pull the discs if they sink down far enough. So I chose going this way. I've already gone the other 2 passes and barely made it, but I'm going to choose going this way because it's kind of heading downhill, so gravity will help us. It's not much of a hill, but you'd be surprised how much that little hill can make a difference trying to come back the other way. So let's try it. We'll see what happens, but I want you guys to see what I'm talking about. I can't stop, so don't expect that. See how the wheels are just kind of plowing and they're not turning anymore? There's middle wheels, and we're still moving. I'm gonna go in reverse to give us some ramming speed against this pile that we've created. See the pile there? And also we're getting dirt stuck up here. So I'm gonna let you go because I want to concentrate to get out of here. So we made it. We got through the muddy muck mess back here. All I had to do was back up a little bit and essentially dump the clutch forward and get a bunch of speed to get up and over top of the little berms I created. I tell you, after I put the front duals in this tractor, that wouldn't have been possible until I put those on. So they have already paid for themselves, really. But you might be asking, okay, yes, I did that to show you guys YouTube fighting mud and what happens when you get really muddy. But I also did that for a reason for us. This chick pick that we have creates a mesh, if you will, across the soil. And it doesn't allow evaporation to take place. Think of a greenhouse. You know, when we were kids, you know, we all had those plastic domes we put over top of a plant. And you saw the inside of that dome on a sunny day would get, you know, real wet and condensation on the inside. That's kind of what chick pick does to the ground. It locks the moisture in. So yes, I rutted the field up a little bit. Yes, I probably created some compaction there. However, if I didn't do that, we could be 2 or 3 weeks of no rain before that ever dried out, and we just can't wait that long. So by breaking that up, by breaking that soil profile up a little bit, allowing some oxygen to get down there, killing off or at least turning over that chick pick, I've now made it so the sun can dry that out a lot faster. Is this the right tool to do that? No. We would normally like to get either a really small set of discs and pull them behind a tractor and just kind of float across the surface, but I'm out here with this tractor now, plus I wanted to show you guys and do something stupid, essentially. Yeah, I wanted to show you visually what I was talking about the soil wicking the moisture out of it. So you can see a definite difference here between this side and that side. This side's darker, that side's lighter. This is lighter because the moisture is already starting to leave the soil. This was done a half hour ago. So just in a half hour with a light breeze and what I call filtered sunlight with some high clouds, we've already started seeing it dry out. Versus this side, I literally just went through this and you can see how much darker it is. So here you can see how the clods, you know, they're all sticking up, it's bumpy. What that does is it provides a lot more surface area for the wind and the sun to hit to help get that soil to lose its moisture. Looking for the restroom. I think the restroom's right here today. Well, the floors were a little dirty, but there was no wait line, so that's good. It's mad at me. All right, well, we've done what disking I plan to do today, but I would still like to do some burn down in some of our fields. I just think they'd work up better, they'd disc better, and it helps with weed control really all season long when you do it. So I think we're gonna go ahead and rather than disking up any more ground, we're gonna spray what we've got left. We're gonna go ahead and spray it, kill it. That way when it's time to run over it and disc it, it'll just work up better. Well, since we're gonna be spraying, one of the things I gotta do is get the fire truck out. We'll pull her over here to the hose and just start putting some water in there. There's like 300, maybe 400 gallons left in the tank. But if I'm gonna spray multiple tanks, I'm gonna need more than that, so. The things that we got to wait for. They need to put up Eugene crossing signs or put up majestic creature lanes. Are you qualified to do that job, sir? Nope. I'd get ready to jump on the sprayer. Anybody want to guess what kind of leak we've sprung? You guessed it, a hydraulic leak. Our cylinder up there is leaking out of the end of it. And as you can see, it's working its way down the boom here and getting on the floor. At some point, I'm going to have to take that cylinder off and either go get it rebuilt or rebuild it myself. I don't know. It's a small cylinder. We might try to rebuild that one ourselves, and I've never done it. I don't think you guys have done it, and if you have, you can chime in and help me. Come over and help me. Oh, man, I swear. People in their trash. All right, if I make this, I give everybody on YouTube $100 that watches this video. Whew, that was close. I thought I was gonna have to give everybody some money. So we can spray Roundup and 2,4-D about a half hour. It has to stay on the plant before it rains. After that, it doesn't matter. The plant has already metabolized the chemical, taken it down to its root structure, and the plant has basically digested it. However, with it sprinkling like this, it's just not worth wasting the price of those chemicals. So we're just gonna go ahead, get everything ready to roll. Hopefully tomorrow afternoon, if we don't get much rain, I can jump right back on this tomorrow after work, and we'll get it all done then. Spray and burn down don't take long. Really the only thing that slows us up is the capacity of the tank in this sprayer. I can only hold 420 gallons of spray versus some of your other sprayers can hold 1,000 to 1,200 gallon. And when we spray at 10 gallon per acre, which is typically what we do, we can only get 42 acres done before having to refill. One of the reasons why I think the next upgrade on the farm is going to be a bigger sprayer. Not just because of that, but also this sprayer only goes about 15, 16 miles an hour down the road. And it just, some of our fields, especially when I'm alone, it takes a long time to run back and forth. Just time to upgrade, I think, for us anyway. Well, I thought I was going to get a little something done today after work, but as you can see, that didn't happen. But for those of you that don't know, that's where we are, right where that little blue dot is, on the good old Delmarva Peninsula. I am going to wait for this truck to fill so I can put it away. Everything will be ready for me to rock and roll tomorrow. Anyway, with that, I want to say goodbye from Delmarva, and thanks for watching. Shorebilly Farmer, out. See my little deer friend right there? They ain't scared of nothing. They don't care. There's two of them there.